So we got a couple upgrades from Apple at the end of 2025. This is the second one that I'm checking out. This is the new M5 iPad Pro. We previously had the M5 MacBook Pro, which I will leave up linked this way for you to check out if you want. Essentially, this is a very small upgrade. You are essentially just getting a new chip inside. The design, the box as an example, that all remains the same. So quickly, we will do my favorite part, the unboxing. The telltale sign of the colorway is actually just what it says right here. So iPad Pro, you can see that's in silver. The actual box art is the same. So I previously on my M4 had the larger version. That was the 13-inch option. I'm happy that I got the 11-inch option, which in my opinion is the best size to get. The 13, it's just too big for an iPad. Almost feels weird to hold. You can see designed by California in Apple. If you're an OG of the channel, you know. You can see user manuals, warranty info, iPad Pro. Sadly, no more Apple stickers, and I'm not too sure if you get the nano texture iPad, you might get a cleaning cloth, just like on the MacBook Pro. You get that extra little bit if you get the nano texture version. I just have the standard glass. You also just get a little charging brick. Sadly, it's only 20 watts and a non-color matched cable. And that is it. Simple. And off comes the plastic. And like I said, I think the silver is such a clean and timeless look. As an example, I'm bringing up the new M5 MacBook Pro in the space black, and you can actually see I've literally just shot a quick video on it. It just collects fingerprints a bit easier. It smudges a bit easier. Once again, all personal preference, but I just think silver is the cleaner of the two. If you've got a favorite option, let me know, but you can spec it in either one of the colors. Sadly, only two. We didn't get anything funky like, the iPhone 17. How dope would it be to have an orange iPad Pro? I guess you can't have it all, but the setup of the new iPad, because it's running iPad OS 26, we've got the uniformity of liquid glass. As an example, I've got the clear icons, which I've got the match, say, on my iPhone. So just kind of using all devices, it feels more of a seamless experience. Another benefit of iPad OS 26, as an example, it becomes a lot more Mac-like. So any window that you have open, as an example, they can all be resized, they can be moved around. I can kind of push this wherever I want, on the actual screen. And it, just like Mac, it has the same little three icons where you can make it once again full screen. If you want, you can re-minimize that, kind of push it down, or you can just fully close it from within the app, and the app is now closed. So once again, kind of bridging that gap between iPad OS, Mac OS, and obviously iOS in general. It's interesting. When I did my MacBook video, I mentioned that some of the leaks kind of look towards possibly a touchscreen MacBook Pro. Will that now make the iPad a bit redundant? Curious to hear what you guys have to say. Obviously, the iPad is still really great for all things touch related. If you are someone that uses, say, an Apple Pencil, obviously I've got my Apple Pencil Pro here, kind of locked on. If you're an artist, a graphic designer, Apple Pencils are still literally the best stylus experience across any device. I think it's great, but if you're trying to use an iPad as a standalone device, you still need to get extra accessories. As an example, Pencil Pro, extra $150. The Folio keyboard case, an extra $250. All the accessories start to add up to the point where you're looking at the price of, say, a decently spec MacBook Air, or even the base M5 MacBook Pro. They start to get really expensive. Obviously, if you get the larger one, if you get the one with cellular connectivity, the price of iPads for me, especially for the Pro models, are a bit on the higher end. I get that you get Pro features, the new M5 chip as an example. It's really more GPU related. I'll leave a couple of graphs on screen compared to, say, the M4, but the big ones are if you're coming from an older iPad M1, M2, you're getting 6.5, 6.7 times faster performance. I think that's who this upgrade is really tailored for. Obviously, there's some AI improvements as well. So there's a new neural accelerator on each of the GPU cores, so 3.5 times faster AI performance compared to M4. Once again, if you are a big AI person, I could see an iPad being beneficial if you're an artist, if you're doing a lot of image generation, if you're doing a lot of rendering, a lot of masking, if you're a creator in general. I think that's where the biggest performance gains will be. Another big hardware improvement for the iPads is the base memory. So if you get the 256 gig or the 512 gig option, that now comes with 12 gigs of memory. Before that was only 8 gigs. If you get the terabyte or 2 TB option, that still has 16 gigs of RAM. It is a bit faster though. It improves the bandwidth around 30% to around 153 gigs per second, and it's the latest storage, so it should be 2 times faster read and write speed. So all that data that you're transferring, obviously that will transfer over faster. And also for the higher spec ones, you get the extra core, so that's the 10-core CPU as well as the 10-core GPU. In my opinion, still like the base iPad Pro should be good enough for most people. Just get the 256 gig option, grab it in silver. If you need any extra accessories like the Apple Pencil, you can tack those on. And also if you want extra storage, you can get like an external SSD or even cloud storage, because for the most part, you can't really maximize your bang for your buck if you are getting the 2 TB option. And for the rest of it, it still has the same great display. It's their Ultra Retina XDR display, which is technically one of the best displays that Apple makes. It's one of the most color accurate. It's funny, most people pair this with say like the Pro Display XDR. This actually has a better display than the MacBook Pro. Like I said, available still in the 2 different size options. Stick to the 11-inch in my opinion. It's still ultra thin, but technically the 13-inch is the thinnest device that Apple makes at 5.1 millimeters. The 11-inch is a little bit thicker at 5.3 millimeters. You honestly won't be able to tell the difference. It still has the iPad Pro camera, which is the one main sensor, so that's the 12 megapixel wide. It has the LiDAR scanner. Really useful if you are doing anything kind of like LiDAR related. If you are like say scanning a room, scanning an object. Once again, more suited or specific use cases, I would say, for that iPad camera. And then on the front, you have the 12 megapixel center stage camera, which is located on the side. That doesn't really matter for the orientation, since most of the time, if you do have it docked as an example, it will be kind of front facing and on the top this way. But I will say, since the, I guess 11-inch is a bit more palmable, you could technically cover it if you are using it to say like FaceTime my parents. That's what I usually use the FaceTime camera for when they're on vacation. I just have to remember when I'm on my iPad, I typically have to turn it one way or just not cover it with my extra thumb. Just something extra to think about. And lastly, which isn't really talked about, you have to dig through the tech specs. This has the new C1X modem chip as well as Wi-Fi 7, so just faster connectivity speeds in general. Very minor upgrade for the iPad in my opinion, just like the M5 MacBook Pro. I think we're gonna wait till we get a new design change, which is kind of tough for the iPad because it's essentially a piece of glass. I'm not too sure what they can really change. Maybe bezels shrinking down by like a millimeter. We still kind of need them to hold on to. What I honestly would love if we would have like maybe a larger MagSafe area on the back, wireless charging. I know that we can't use aluminum, but something to make this like more integrated into like my Mac ecosystem, where I can just like kind of slot it in beside my Mac. It can start charging when I want to use it and use it as like a secondary display. All of that you can do. You just have to still charge via USB-C. So those are all future wants for an iPad. I guess they would have to implement something similar to the iPhone with its like two-tone look, because you have to have that glass panel for wireless charging and obviously for MagSafe, but maybe I can do my own little mock render and see what that would look like. But that is the M5 iPad Pro. And lastly, thankfully for pricing, we haven't seen any upgrades, which you don't want to see for pricing across the board. So still $999 for the base storage option. That's the 11-inch model. $12.99 for the 13-inch, that's US dollars. For Canadian, it's $13.99 and $17.99 pesos respectively. Let me know if you're going to upgrade to one. Like I said, just stick to the base 11-inch option. It's the best one of the bunch, and kind of tack on your accessories as need be. Make sure you're subbed for M5 MacBook Pro. The new Vision Pro also just got announced, which is literally off camera, which will be the next product. And I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next ones. Peace.